Welcome everyone. Today I wanted to talk about rehypothecation and Cardano. I first want to thank a couple people before I start this video. One person that brought this attention to me was one of the subscribers. He left a comment. His tag name was OldPa Sink. And another one was sparked by a couple days ago. I watched a Modern Investor video, and he was basically talking not necessarily about the term rehypothecation, but he was alluding to this idea of rehypothecation. And the reason why I want to talk about this video is I want to take it one step further and analyze what this means for Cardano. We can look it through it. We're going to first analyze it through a Bitcoin lens and then transfer it to Cardano. And this whole idea of rehypothecation was started in one of my previous videos when I was talking about ETFs, and OldPa Sink was bringing me up to speed as to why ETFs could be quote unquote a bad thing. The idea of rehypothecation is basically so for example, if the ETF gets passed, there are going to be institutions that are going to hold Bitcoin inside their portfolio. And they may purchase some Bitcoin, store some Bitcoin, but at the same time, if consumer demand increases to a degree where the number of Bitcoin that's actually produced can't satiate the demand, that's where rehypothecation comes in. So basically it's selling assets that you do not necessarily have. There's a lot of manipulation like that within the precious metals industry. So if you look at gold, or you look at silver, or look at any of these other precious metals, you notice that you hear a lot of people saying that this is a precious commodity, this is a precious metal. There's no reason why the price should be this low, but yet it's so low because this idea that people are selling contracts on top of contracts on top of contracts for what is actually not even there. The physical assets can't match the demand. So paper notes or IOUs are created saying this and this and this and this. So let's first start with the gold example. The amount of gold on Earth can fill up, if you look at the Eiffel Tower, if you lay brick by brick, all the gold could fill up to the base, the first layer of the Eiffel Tower. That's the amount of gold that's on Earth. And a majority of countries, if you look at their Federal Reserve or their central bank, they hold a lot of bullion, which is those gold bars, and they just sit there. And they're supposed to represent some sort of national wealth, and they keep it as just a reserve, just in case things go wrong. And in society, you are told that gold is used on electronics and various other methods because it has a lot of properties that are great for conducting electricity and working on circuit boards and whatnot. But all this gold, it's not being taken from the bullion vaults. It's the same gold that's being recycled, or gold that's being mined in new gold mines and whatnot. So all this bullion is just sitting there for no purpose. I mean, someone owns it, and it's supposed to be a digital representation of wealth. But the amount of gold out there does not match the amount of demand. Yet the price is so deflated. You could see the gold trend. Although it's been increasing, technically the amount of the scarcity of gold and its utility, quote unquote utility, should propel it to a lot higher highs. Now we're going to move to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, at first it was supposed to be a digital currency, but now it's being touted as a digital gold. And this is where our first issue lies. Because the same issue that is happening with gold is going to happen with Bitcoin if they keep on touting this digital gold moniker. So when ATFs happen, let's say there's a couple million circulating Bitcoin on the market right now. Maybe those a couple million will be scooped up. The price will steadily increase, or maybe rocket to the moon. But then it's just going to become stagnant because those private keys or that actual digital asset will be held by, an ETF. And since they have that ETF right now they can maybe create 50 more ETFs for each Bitcoin that they own, or 100 more ETFs for each Bitcoin that they own, so they can offer it to more masses, more people. And the only time they have to cash out is when a particular person actually comes and asks them to cash out for this particular Bitcoin. Then they may have to sell that Bitcoin or just take the money from a new investor. So it becomes a little bit of a gray area, because it's that whole idea of a bank. You walk into the bank right now, you can take out all your money. But if everyone who has an account at that bank goes and walks in and tries to take out their money, they won't be able to do it. There's not enough money in the bank, because as soon as you deposit money in the bank, they just go and invest it quickly. It's not there anymore. And you can't even take out all your money in your own account. There's a maximum. There are daily limits. They will restrict you from doing so. It will be the same thing for Bitcoin. And why I think that this is a problem is because even if Lightning Network releases in the future and whatnot, the limited supply, that 21 million Bitcoin, is a huge problem, because it's always going to be a digital gold. You see it from the beginning. People have been holding it, let's say from $1,000 or $100. Oh, I can't wait till it goes to 5,000. Then it's going to moon. Then it's 10,000. Then it's 20,000. So hodlers are always going to hold on to their Bitcoin. It can go to 60,000. And then now you're going to see price predictions. Oh, Bitcoin's going to hit 1 million. And when it hits 1 million, what's going to happen? Oh, I'm not going to get rid of my Bitcoin. It's going to go to 10 million. But eventually, there's going to be a stopping point. There's going to be a stopping point where it just stays stagnant for the longest period of time, or depreciates, because there's so many IOUs on the market and so little utilization of the actual crypto that you wonder whether or not it's going to be useful. Bitcoin will always have this digital gold moniker. Like, let me give you an example. If you have Bitcoin right now, it goes to 1 million overnight. What are you going to do? Are you going to sell it immediately? Maybe you might sell it, but if it takes a gradual position, there are a lot of people that are just going to hodl it. People have been hodling it from the beginning. People are more and more resistant to actually even use their Bitcoin, because why would I use my Bitcoin? Let me just use my cash. My Bitcoin is going to continue appreciating. And, it's going to appreciate in the next 50 years. It's going to appreciate in the next 100 years. And, in 200 years, you know how many Bitcoin will be lost? You know how much it's going to be worth? It's going to be worth $1 billion of Bitcoin. It's always going to be like that, the same narrative for the rest of time, I believe. I don't know if I'm looking at this incorrectly, but it has to do with circulating supply. It has to deal with utility. Even in the future, when there are atomic swaps, you can use things more accurately. There's more liquidity, you can use things more fluid. People are not going to be getting rid of their Bitcoin. No, I'll buy some Litecoin and use my Litecoin, but I'm not going to be using my Bitcoin to buy some ice cream. That's basically the point I'm getting to. So, this is one situation. But why I think that this is not going to be an issue for Cardano is because, first of all, the cryptocurrencies with the larger circulating supply, I think, are a little bit more immune to this, because this whole idea of digital gold is less of an issue when your circulating supply or max supply is a little bit greater, which I think is an advantage. So everyone that's harping on max supply, circulating supply, if you have 500 of something and those 500 get released, once those 500 are up, it's over. It stays at its price, but people are not going to sell. There are going to be a few that sell, but not everyone. So that liquidity within the ecosystem is not going to be there. But one of the reasons why I think that Cardano will be quote unquote immune to this rehypothecation is because also utility. Cryptocurrencies with utility, the ability to use it for a particular use case, whether it's to interoperate with other cryptos or being able to trade it with a digital asset. Let's say that in the future Cardano 100x's and it's $10 per Cardano. I will be spending my Cardano to get more, to either switch it to a currency, of a local currency that I'm in that country. I will be living inside the ecosystem. I want to spend my Cardano. I really do. And I know a lot of people that share this sentiment. And the fact that when Shelly releases, we're going to be getting staking rewards. So our principal is always going to be, quote unquote, increase. Our principal could be technically increasing as long as we do not spend that the amount of money that comes back to us from staking our ADA. I'm not sure if what you're looking forward to within the ADA ecosystem, but I'm looking forward to spending it. I'm looking forward to using it as a currency, not digital gold. Cardano is not my digital gold. Bitcoin is digital gold. Cardano is utility. So cryptocurrencies with these larger circulating supplies and utility, even the smaller circulating supplies, they're not going to take place of Bitcoin's digital gold moniker. But this utility is going to be key, because utility is what you need to spend the actual currency. I have yet, even when Bitcoin comes out, the Lightning Network, I'm still going to use my credit card. But when Cardano, when ADA starts being interoperable with different assets, and maybe I can stake on my mobile wallet while I'm away, and I can use my staking rewards or use some of my principal and interoperate between currency A and currency B, and travel from country to country, just living within inside the ecosystem. This is what I envision for myself in Cardano. I don't envision myself with that in Bitcoin. I mean, yeah, I can go around cutting things into Satoshi and whatnot, but why would I spend? I mean, it starts at $1 million per Bitcoin, then it's going to be 10 million, then it's going to be 100 million, then the dollar is going to completely disappear, so it's going to be $1 trillion. What's the end game? What's the end game? And you could say the same thing about Cardano, but the fact is that the proof of stake system rewarding people that are helping to strengthen the ecosystem is very powerful. I mean, Bitcoin does reward people that are very difficult. You've got to wire some money to Bitmain, get yourself an Antminer, and plug it into your house and listen to the roaring sound of an ASIC miner for 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. I have nothing against mining, but once again, that's not the choice. That's not the direction I want to see myself. So, what do you think about rehypothecation? What do you think? What do you think about this idea that these assets are just going to be manipulated until the end of time when the ETFs come out? And Bitcoin, I think, is going to be subject to this. While I do think that there's so much price potential for Bitcoin, eventually, I don't know when that stopping point is going to be. It's going to stop and it will depreciate. Once, there's 21 million Bitcoin, but will there be 21 million Bitcoin on paper when the ETF comes out? No, there'll probably be 210 billion by the time they divvy it up and try to get every single maximum cent out of the crypto project. These bankers, these institutions, these ETF institutions, they're vultures. I'm not saying that, I don't want to single anyone out if they're within that industry, but the system itself derives on quarterly profits. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, when they're releasing their ETFs, they need to make sure that their shareholders are happy. And what does that mean? That means increasing profits. You have to feed the machine. It's not a single person orchestrating this. You need to make your stockholders happy. And how are they going to make stockholders happy? Rehypothecation, increasing the amount of assets they can offer to their client. It doesn't matter if it's diluting the wallets of the end customer, as long as they have that particular asset. And to tell you the truth, there's not going to be a problem with everyone trying to get their Bitcoin at the exact same time, unless there's some kind of major crash or whatnot. But it's just going to keep on divvying up. So this is what we're looking forward to with the ETF. What are your thoughts? Once again, I want to thank OldPa Sink, and thank you for thanks to Modern Investor for making that video a couple days ago. It really sparked an idea of how this relates to Cardano. But thank you, OldPa Sink, for really educating me on rehypothecation. I've been doing some reading up on it. What are your thoughts about this? What do you think about utility and how it can prevent itself from rehypothesizing this, from experiencing this rehypothecation process? Let me know your thoughts, your questions, your concerns. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, and until the next video.